Have you ever imagined what it would be like to live without water? Not without water for a few hours, not for a single day, but for weeks, months, or in some cases, even years. For humans, such an idea sounds almost impossible. Our bodies are made up of roughly 60% water. Our blood depends on it. Our brains depend on it. Our hearts depend on it. Every cell in our bodies requires water to function properly. When we feel thirsty, our body is sending an emergency signal, a warning that our internal balance is beginning to fail. Without water, most humans can survive only a few days before serious consequences begin to appear. But nature has a way of surprising us. Because scattered across some of the harshest environments on Earth are creatures capable of doing something that seems almost unbelievable. They live in deserts where rain rarely falls. They survive in places drier than most landscapes humans have ever experienced. They endure scorching summers. They survive brutal droughts. And somehow they continue living despite having little or no access to fresh water. How is that possible? What is their secret? And how far can life push the limits of survival without water? To answer these questions, we first need to understand something important. Water is life. Every known living organism depends on it. Water transports nutrients, regulates temperature, removes waste, supports the countless chemical reactions that make life possible. Without water, these processes begin to break down. That is why most animals must drink regularly. But evolution works in extraordinary ways. When an environment remains dry for millions of years, the creatures living there gradually adapt. Generation after generation, small changes accumulate until eventually entirely new survival strategies emerge. And some of those strategies are so remarkable that they seem almost impossible. One of the most famous examples comes from the desert, a place many people consider the ultimate enemy of life. Imagine endless stretches of sand reaching toward the horizon, the sun blazing overhead, temperatures exceeding 50 degrees Celsius, rainfall so rare that years may pass between storms. Most animals would struggle to survive. Yet one animal has become the universal symbol of endurance in these harsh landscapes: the camel. For thousands of years, humans have relied on camels to cross deserts, and for good reason. Camels can survive without water far longer than most mammals. Many people believe that camels store water in their humps, but that is actually a myth. Their humps contain fat, not water. So, what makes them so resilient? The answer lies throughout their entire biology. Camels can tolerate levels of dehydration that would kill many other animals. Their red blood cells have a unique oval shape that allows blood to continue flowing even when water levels drop dramatically. Their kidneys are incredibly efficient at conserving water. They sweat only when absolutely necessary. Even their body temperature can fluctuate throughout the day to reduce water loss. And when they finally find water, they can drink astonishing amounts in a very short time. A thirsty camel may consume over 100 liters of water within minutes, a remarkable adaptation for life in the desert. But despite their reputation, camels are not the ultimate champions of water conservation. Because elsewhere in the world, nature has produced creatures that take survival even further. In the Namib Desert of southwestern Africa lives a tiny insect with a brilliant solution to one of life's greatest challenges: the Namib desert beetle. The Namib is one of the driest places on Earth. Rain is extremely rare. Freshwater is scarce. Yet every morning, fog drifts inland from the Atlantic Ocean, and this beetle has evolved a way to harvest that moisture. It climbs to the top of a sand dune and positions its body toward the wind. Its shell contains microscopic structures that capture water droplets from the fog. The droplets gradually merge together, growing larger and larger until they roll directly into the beetle's mouth. No river, no lake, no rainfall, just water collected from the air itself. A simple yet extraordinary survival strategy. But perhaps the most astonishing example of surviving without water belongs to a creature so small that most people will never see it with the naked eye. The tardigrade, also known as the water bear. At first glance, a tardigrade looks unimpressive. Tiny, slow, almost microscopic. Hardly the image of an extreme survivor. Yet this miniature animal possesses one of the most incredible abilities ever discovered in nature. When conditions become too dry, the tardigrade performs something extraordinary. It removes most of the water from its body. Its metabolism slows to nearly zero. Its biological activity almost completely stops. It enters a state known as cryptobiosis. In this condition, the tardigrade appears lifeless, but it is not dead. It is waiting for water, waiting for moisture, waiting for conditions to improve. And when water eventually returns, the tardigrade rehydrates and resumes life as though nothing happened. Some tardigrades have survived years in this dormant state. Imagine pressing a pause button on life itself. That is essentially what a tardigrade can do. And the desert is not the only place where animals face prolonged water shortages. In Australia, certain frogs have evolved a remarkable strategy for surviving drought. When dry seasons arrive, these frogs burrow deep underground. They surround themselves with protective layers of mucus. Their metabolism slows dramatically, and they enter a dormant state known as estivation. Months pass. No food, no water, no movement. Then, when rain finally returns, they emerge from the soil and continue their lives, as if waking from a long sleep. Elsewhere, some fish have evolved equally astonishing abilities. In parts of Africa, seasonal ponds can disappear entirely during droughts. For most aquatic animals, this would mean death. But certain lungfish have developed a different solution. As the water disappears, they burrow into the mud. Their bodies produce a protective cocoon. Inside this cocoon, they enter a dormant state. Months pass, sometimes years. Then the rains return. The ponds refill, and the fish awaken, continuing their lives as though time itself had stopped. The deeper scientists study these animals, the clearer one truth becomes. Surviving without water is not about eliminating the need for water. It is about managing that need in extraordinary ways. Some animals conserve water. Some collect it from unexpected sources. Some store energy and reduce activity. And some temporarily suspend life itself until conditions improve. Different solutions, the same challenge. And all of them reveal something remarkable about evolution. Life does not give up easily. When water is abundant, life flourishes. When water disappears, life adapts. When conditions become extreme, nature develops solutions that seem almost unimaginable. From camels crossing vast deserts, to beetles harvesting moisture from fog, to frogs sleeping underground for months, to microscopic tardigrades pausing their existence entirely. Every one of these creatures demonstrates the same extraordinary lesson. Life is far more resilient than it appears, and perhaps somewhere right now, beneath a scorching desert sun, inside cracked and drought-stricken soil, or hidden within a microscopic droplet waiting for rain, one of these remarkable animals is quietly proving that the limits of survival are far broader than we ever imagined. Because on Earth, Life has learned a powerful lesson. When water becomes scarce, survival is not about strength, it is about adaptation. And adaptation is one of nature's greatest masterpieces.